Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Great news, obviously you're watching a video, which means the MacBook has returned. It's actually not returned, it was completely dead, brand new Mac. So we're rocking and rolling. Breaking news also, I'm about to move into an office very soon. So we'll have a GBFC proper office setup with sofas for podcasting, different walls for different settings, whiteboards with tactics. We're leveling up the game for the 23-24 season. So if you're not yet subscribed to the George Benson football channel, I'd love to ask you to do so. And we're giving away 2 tickets to Chelsea-Liverpool over on my Telegram. All you got to do is follow the top link in the description. And before the end of July, we're going to announce it. It was supposed to be the end of June, but I realized that was so far away to the beginning of the season that I didn't even have the tickets in my hand, or the person who's going to send it to you didn't have them. So now they will, end of July. That's when this one runs. Today, we are going to talk about the Chelsea squad that have flown to the US. We're going to talk about the weaknesses. We're obviously going to look at the shift between what we had at the end of last season, what we have now. We've got new injuries, which I do want to talk about today because this is a big thing, okay? When it comes to looking at the current Chelsea squad that we've got, we have sold a lot of players. There are a lot of players towards pretty much the last 2 years, really. It seemed as though Chelsea needed this summer, I think about 2 years ago. And I think the fact that we have left it until now, spent 600 million last year, this was the only window left before we fell into some kind of spiraling oblivion of how on earth can we possibly improve this situation. So loads of players have left. And when I look at this squad, we're going to go from goalkeepers through to strikers. We start with the keepers. Kepa, Gabriel Slonina, Lucas Bergstrom, Eddie Beach and Jamie Cumming are the goalkeepers coming to America. Didn't really mean to do that one, but it just fitted in, so we did it. This is a weak spot. I'm not going to lie to you. The fact that Pochettino wants Kepa as his number one, Chelsea have been reluctant to go into the market for a top goalkeeper. Onana has got the here we go for Manchester United, a brilliant goalkeeper, a better goalkeeper in my opinion than Kepa Arrizabalaga. Chelsea have said, this isn't our priority. This isn't where we want to spend money. And when I look at that, we have sold Edouard Mendy. Who's the number 2? I think it's Gabriel Slonina. Chelsea have bought Slonina in for the long term. He's obviously going back to his home country. Great to have him as part of the squad, get a bit of experience. And I'm sure Pochettino, knowing the situation with Caicedo, Chelsea are close. I'm so sick of it. I'm honestly so sick of it. We either sign him or we don't. If we know Brighton are going to reject it, what's the point in placing the bid? That's just my thoughts on that. But we're going to talk about that in today's second video because we're back in business now. We're back. When I look at these goalkeepers, Bergstrom, Eddie Beach, Jamie Cumming, there's always, when it comes to pre-season, certain players that we see that might look good in training videos, might even get 20 minutes on the field, and we're like, this guy is the one. Lewis Baker, Ross Barkley, names from the past 10 years that just stick in my mind. Pre-season geniuses, but then they're gone literally 2 hours after the full-time whistle, on loan, or they've been sold. So with the keepers, Kepa, if that's what Poch wants, I back it for now, but he needs a massive season. He's the most expensive goalkeeper in the world, and he certainly isn't the best goalkeeper in the world. So we need to see big improvement. Moving into the defenders, Thiago Silva, Chalobah, Chilwell, Cucurella, Gusto, Humphreys, Colwill, Maatsen, Gilchrist. 3 massive names are not on this list. Reece James, Wesley Fofana, Benoit Badiashile. Badiashile is still injured from the end of last season. Wesley Fofana, it's another new injury. And this is a big worry for me. Reece James as well, another new injury. Massive, massive worry. With James, it's less of a concern directly because Gusto's coming in and I think he's going to be a quality right back, full back for the club. The fact that Wesley Fofana is injured again, this is good if you're like me and you're a big fan of Levi Colwill, but seeing Wesley Fofana injured again is never good. I said that completely wrong and people might take that out of context, but you know what I'm saying. It gives Colwill an opportunity. But Wesley Fofana is a defender with so much potential, but even when Chelsea bought him last summer, we knew that he had injury worries and injury issues at Leicester City, yet we spent so much money on him, saw him injured a lot last season, and now we're not even going to have him, by the looks of things, for the start of the next season. So Chelsea, according to Fabrizio Romano, will be keeping an eye on the market this transfer window to make a late move for another centre-back if Wesley Fofana's injury carries through past the beginning of the season and when the transfer window ends. When you look once again at this list that I'll keep here where the mirror is, with the nice bucket hat right there, you see it? This is a good list. Bashir Humphreys was obviously on loan in Germany last year. Maatsen on loan at Burnley. You got Alfie Gilchrist in there, a player who a lot of people that follow the Chelsea Academy have got a lot of high hopes for. There's been comparisons to JT, similarly to that we've seen when it comes to comparisons with Levi Colwill to John Terry. But when I'm looking there, the left back position, you've got Lewis Hall in the midfielders in this category, which shows how short we are there. We'll get onto them in a minute. You've got Ian Maatsen, Cucurella and Chilwell. Three good players. Chilwell, always injured. Cucurella, awful last season. And Maatsen is one of the players I'm most excited to see during this pre-season. And I think Pochettino will be using him in potentially even different systems. I think we'll see a lot of Maatsen. And I think if a bid comes in for Cucurella, Chelsea have said that if the right bid comes in, they wouldn't mind selling him. And I think a lot of that will depend on how good Maatsen is or isn't during this tour of the USA. Bashir Humphreys, great player. I think he's got a bright future. But again, when it comes to that centre-back position, I'm looking here, and if Badiashile stays injured, Fofana stays injured, Thiago Silva is not getting any younger. We can't deny this. Trev, there's been rumours that he still might be sold. So Levi Colwill becomes your only fit centre-back. And we're talking at the end of last season about an over-inflated Chelsea squad. And now we're looking at all of these injuries. I'm looking at this list of players. We're on defenders now, but we can still keep going. You look at the age. You look at where's the experience here? And it is very concerning indeed. Let's move into the midfielders because that point kind of ties in when we look at this list. There's not a single player here in this list over the age of 23. Enzo Fernandez, Conor Gallagher, Carney Chukwuemeka, Santos, Cesar Casadei, Lewis Hall. That is the only midfielders that Chelsea still have now at the club. Hakim Ziyech still there, but he's going to be gone. Mount gone. Havertz gone. Ruben gone. And I'm looking at this. Conor Gallagher's an interesting one. I think under Pochettino, this could be his last chance at Chelsea to really nail down a position. I think with Conor, you get energy, you get movement. And I think managers that have used him at Chelsea have used him incorrectly. Chelsea's profiling when it comes to the 11s that we fielded last season was worse than I've ever seen in my lifetime. Managers didn't know where to play the players, let alone who to pick out of the abundance of players sat in the dressing room. So Gallagher I still think will stay. But again, I don't think he's a starter at Chelsea Football Club. I don't think when we're looking at bringing in Moises Caicedo, which, who knows, he's bloody close apparently. We'll see about that one, shall we? Enzo's obviously brilliant. I think this is the breakthrough year for Chukwuemeka. If Chelsea bring in Caicedo, I think Chukwuemeka is the kind of mould of player that Pochettino is going to love to work with. And I think last year, Gallagher was overused when it came to playing him all over the field in different positions that weren't his. And I think Carnes is more versatile in that sense than Conor Gallagher. Casadei and Santos. I think Santos stays. I think Casadei will get a good loan move. Lewis Hall, I think when you look at the fact that there's now 3 left backs at the club, his place is now going to be in that midfield. But how many signings do Chelsea realistically need? We've been linked to Rayan Cherki. We've got Christopher Nkunku, but he's a forward. He's a number 10 or left wing. Rayan Cherki, again, still. Caicedo, Enzo, Cherki. Is there enough size in that midfield? There's certainly enough creativity. There's brilliant passing. There's great coverage of the pitch, tackles, enforcer. You've got a bit of everything there. It's exciting, but Caicedo's not here. Cherki's not here. So I'm looking at this list and I'm thinking it is just going to fall short. If Chelsea don't improve with at least Caicedo and maybe at least one more top midfielder, I don't see us getting top 6, let alone challenging for top 4. So we go to the attackers. This is where, on the naked eye, it looks quite busy up here. You got Mudryk, Sterling, Madueke, Angelo Gabriel, who's signed from Brazil, Diego Moreira, a player that I've not seen too much of from Benfica that could also be very exciting. Nicholas Jackson, Christopher Nkunku, Mason Bairstow, and Dujuan Richards, the Jamaican player who will stay training only. When you look at this list, there's no Armando Broja, he's injured again. Bairstow and Nicholas Jackson are the only out-and-out strikers that Chelsea are taking on our pre-season tour to the United States of America. You could include Christopher Nkunku in that, but that wasn't really what we bought him in for, was it? I'm concerned. It's where I get to this part of the pitch that I'm worried. I think Mudryk will have a good year. I think under Pochettino, he's going to improve from what we saw under Potter, Bruno, Lampard last season. I think this could be a defining year in the Chelsea career of Raheem Sterling. We don't have to say anything about what he's done in the past because he's been a phenomenal footballer. If Poch gets the best out of him, Sterling becomes a huge member of this squad. You look at the youngsters, Angelo, not sure he's going to stay on for the season. Moreira, such an exciting talent, but again, there is so much youth in this Chelsea team. Mason Bairstow wasn't even playing Premier League football last season. Again, good striker in the young years, but Chelsea, at the moment, I am worried. I'm worried because we've done the first job, which was sell a lot of the players that clearly weren't either Chelsea level or just haven't fitted in now for so long, so get rid of them. We heard it in the Lampard interview that he did with Stephen Bartlett. Those players gave up last season. And I think when you've been at a club for a while, you've won the biggest trophy there is to win. Eventually, when you're sitting out pretty much 2/3 of the games and you've got managers chopping and changing here and there and fans are going nuts, results are awful, you do lose interest. I can see it, and it makes total sense what Lampard's saying. But I think there's a lot of players here with this pre-season, and again, we've got to remember it's still only the middle of July. We have still got a month and a half left of the transfer window, but the way we're moving at the minute, it's so slow. And I look at this whole list, and especially these attackers, there's so much potential. But Chelsea this season, last season we still had loads of potential. We just didn't deliver. This year we've got to be competitive. We have got to make our way up the Premier League table, and we can't be settling for 12th. But at the moment, I'll be very honest with you. This squad that we've taken to the US needs at least 3 or 4 more top quality players in it. The cat is about to jump up, and no, don't do it. It's looking bare at this moment in time. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Of this squad, where do we need to improve? I'm going to say possibly keeper, definitely striker. The cat's just fallen down, that was dumb. Definitely 2 midfielders, if I'm being realistic. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and check back on GBFC for the second video later on today. Come on, you Blues.